So what happens if your strong ab muscles, so maybe those strong TAs or internal obliques, take over for your pelvic floor muscles? So often happens when this happens, you will feel, when you try to do a kegel or a pelvic floor contraction, you will feel more ab burning than you will pelvic floor burning. This can be really annoying if you're actually trying to strengthen your pelvic floor. So the trick or the secret to this is maybe a little bit frustrating, but works if you do it. And that is to only start with a 10% contraction. So I recommend you get comfortable where you can really feel both sits bones on the ground. And then what I want you to do is close your eyes and give me a few meditative breaths where you're really just relaxing, letting your pelvic floor relax, let everything go. And then I want you to think right about the opening of your pelvic floor, just very at the ground level. If you want, take a washcloth and fold it up and kind of sit on the washcloth so you have something touching your pelvic floor. That physical touching can really help. And then I want you to think about just barely closing the front of your pelvic floor and the back of your pelvic floor. So just barely closing the surface area. Don't think about lifting, don't think about gripping, don't think about doing this giant contraction, which is often what happens if somebody's abs are taking over, is they're just really trying to do a big contraction and just going way too hard instead of calming it down and isolating it to the pelvic floor. So the first 30% of our pelvic floor contraction should just come from the pelvic floor. And then after about a 30% contraction, then you're gonna start really getting a little bit of abdominal help to assist so it kind of all gathers together. But you should be able to get that first initiating of the pelvic floor without the abs doing anything. So I encourage you just to find a good comfy position, let your belly hang out, and then focus on just initiating with the pelvic floor, not getting this giant contraction and not letting your abs kick in. And then you work on that for a few weeks, and then you can start contracting harder and harder and harder. And then you can start letting your abs join in. And then before you know it, you've got pelvic floor firing first, abs doing second, and those deep abdominal muscles not taking over for your pelvic floor.